Bitcoin Truth Seekers, it is Tuesday, May 25th. It is 5:47 a.m. here in the Arizona desert. So, as always, go to bitcoindailyview.com. That's where I got links to things that we talk about today and other cool stuff. All right, just starting the day off reminding that, yes, the crypto market has definitely had some volatility, but if you ever have your dollar value down in your portfolio and it brings you down, just remember to look at the DXY here, because ever since the beginning of 2020, dollar strength index has just been dumping and dumping and dumping, and that probably is not going to change. So remember, the dollar value of your crypto is not quite as powerful as you may think as far as an indicator of your crypto's worth. If you got Bitcoin, well, Bitcoin hasn't been doing this since the beginning of 2020, regardless of your dollar value of your portfolio right now, if it's down some. All right, most cryptocurrencies are worthless, St. Louis Federal Reserve President says. Who cares? You know, he might be right. There are a lot of shitcoins out there. We know it. But at the same time, hello, I represent ancient evil. I'm an ancient evil puppet. I have a hand up my ass, a devil's hand up my ass, and I say stupid things. I'm evil, and I just wanted to mention everybody that good is dumb. Anyway, who cares what these ass clowns have to say? All right. Now, here's somebody that does matter. Unlike this self-important ass clown, Raoul Paul. You might like him, you might not like him. He definitely spends a lot of time tailoring his facial hair, and he's very full of himself. But I think he is a really good character, and of course, I don't agree with everything in his, when it comes to his worldview and such like that. I think he's a little bit of a subservient person to the globalists. But regardless, um, Daily Hodl, this good site, he does mention that 100x to 200x growth coming to crypto markets, says macro Roll Paul uh, guru. Basically, it says macro guru Roll Paul. Here's his timeline. So he gives a timeline. I linked to this over at Bitcoin Daily View, but pretty much I think he's just looking at the total 2013 trend that we had and comparing now to that. And I think that certainly can be done. But even if you don't want to look at it, 2013, 2016, looking at basically the other halvings and such, good little article. Uh, whether you, I mean, sometimes I get a little bit hesitant to look at the past and say, oh, look, the chart overlays and it matches. You can do that. But even if you don't want to take it from that perspective, just looking at adoption and people, how much Bitcoin is being purchased by large institutions and by retail investors, how quick the dips get bought, etc. I think there's a lot of other reasons you can make a case for Bitcoin and other cryptos are going to do exactly this. You can look at old charts if you want. Anyway, this is a very good article, worth checking out. He says some very true things here. And I think you can have a lot more reasons than he just stated for why crypto and Bitcoin are going to do exactly that, 100 and 200x easy. And I mean, let's face it, there'll be some alts that do a lot more than that, like this week. So anyway, this is looking at the market just the last hour here on Coin360. ETH is up. Everything else is a bit of a mix of green and red, including Bitcoin. It's down a little bit. A little bit of volatility this morning. We'll take a look at that. Bitcoin trading volume last 24 hours, 10.1 billion. 10.1 billion, not bad at all. 5.6 billion of that on Binance, 1.8 billion of that on Coinbase. No one else showed up for a billion. Oh well. Although Kraken had more volume than Bitfinex, and usually Bitfinex is above Kraken, so interesting. All right, longs versus shorts sentiment. Let's refresh this. Over on Binance, where all that beautiful volume is. So for Bitcoin, 56% longs, 43% shorts. Okay, sentiment is long. For Ethereum on Binance, 57% long, 42% short. So a good positive sentiment on Binance. I'm not sure if the market's even open yet or not, but no, I don't think so. But looking at SPX on top, Russell 2000 in the middle, Dow Jones in the bottom. What I think is really something to note right now on these daily charts, the MACD is about to turn positive on all of these, probably today, barring some dump. And I think when that does happen, we will see Bitcoin definitely rocket ship to Pluto mode when that happens, which it's already beginning to start. I think many of us would love to see the crypto market detached from the traditional market, but it isn't. And since it is not the case, since they the traditional market does affect Bitcoin, well, these positive MACD crosses on these major indexes are going to, I think, be an absolutely positive thing. Silver and gold still up very, very well. Bob Kudla over at TradeGenius.io, he did mention that silver's not quite performed. Silver on the bottom here. Has not performed quite as well as some expected this year, but it has performed well and definitely has room to move up further. So I'll be watching gold and especially silver. They're doing well. They're all above positive moving averages, etc. They're looking good. A little sideways. I mean, they're not crypto, of course. They don't pump and dump like that. But both right now look like a pretty sound investment if you want to hedge in some dollars to make sure that they maintain value. If you want to go old school, not financial advice, of course. This is always just entertainment purposes only. Bitcoin versus USDT here on the daily chart. Now, MACD is beginning to move towards a positive cross, has a little ways to go, but the histogram is closing in a positive direction. We're below the mid-range. I always like to see things above the mid-range on the MACD, but regardless, we're heading towards a positive cross, and when that cross is positive, we have a long, beautiful MACD swing to ride into Lambo land. It's wonderful. Now, on the daily chart, this is the 200 moving average. And as you can see, we dropped below it, and now we're challenging it. 200 moving average is always resistance for Bitcoin, especially on the daily chart, 4-hour chart, 2-hour chart, 45-minute chart, 50-minute chart. It's always, it's a powerful moving average. So basically, yeah, Bitcoin recovered with that, could be an Elon Musk Tesla, pump. He yesterday said, oh, well, him and Michael Saylor were tweeting that, there's kind of a consortium of effort for Bitcoin miners, I guess, and crypto miners in general to be green. So, which I think really they're kind of doing anyway. But anyway, regardless, here we are, and it seems like maybe his tweet, or Michael Saylor and Elon Musk, maybe that's why we had the pump yesterday. I'm sure it's something to do with it. But I also find that big manipulation always coordinates stories to hide behind. So regardless, we had a beautiful green candle yesterday, and on the daily met the 200 moving average, found resistance, and now it's working on getting over it. Looking at this powerful MACD swing towards the positive side, I think we will see Bitcoin break above this 200 moving average. It might have to bounce off it for a little bit, but we are in the week. We're in the beginning of the week. We're not looking at that weekend flaccidity that Bitcoin can see, so I think we'll break above this. I certainly have an alert set, and I'm waiting for that because I think it's going to be a glorious day. Now, also, let's look just for fun here. Let's look at the 12-hour. Yeah, 12-hour is still well below the 200 moving average and the 21 EMA, but the 12-hour MACD has flipped positive. That's a good thing. It's a powerful indicator. Yeah, people give me a hard time for using MACD sometimes. They say it's kind of ancient history, but I tell you what, ancient history still works. Yeah, even though the fulcrum is tilting negative, the 4-hour MACD is positive. Let's look at the 2-hour. 2-hour MACD is, it did flip negative. All right. So anyway, we are seeing a little bit of volatility towards the downside this morning, but that's fine. As on the daily, we challenged the 200 moving average, and the big daily MACD is trending towards positive. I think we're looking pretty good today. Now, yesterday, myself, along with the rest of the world, was probably very, very excited to see this, to see Bitcoin flip the green Madrid ribbons and get above the moving average and find some support. Of course, this morning it bounced below it, but it's also fighting to get back. Squeeze indicator shows a little bit of negativity here. The directional index is in the red right now, and so is the ADX is below where we'd like to see it. So we're seeing a little bit of a downswing, but stochastic RSI is definitely at the bottom. KRI is not too low. It's got plenty of room to flip green here again. I think we're looking fine. Lazy bear indicator, I do link to that over at the Bitcoin Daily View. It's not showing anything too terrible. This is just natural. I think we're going to bounce off this 200 moving average a little bit and eventually get above it again and be in Lambo land. So all is looking good. Let's look at this on the daily. Look at all these fancy indicators on the daily chart. There we go. See, on the daily chart, you can see we want to blow the 200 moving average. We're working on getting above it once again. How's the squeeze indicator look? Yeah, in general, we're just cruising. I'm happy. I mean, Bitcoin finally has some fight in it. So on the daily, we're ranging now between the 200 moving average and the 314. That's a positive place to be. So this chart, it's still not as strong as I'd like to see it, but I think we're definitely in the midst of, well, either a turnaround or, well, a little bit of struggle on the way down. So we'll see how this rolls. But overall, I'm feeling pretty positive. On the 15-minute chart for Bitcoin, we came down and we bounced off the 200 moving average this morning. That's a good thing. 15-minute chart, you're going to find a lot of manipulation happens right at this timeline. I think this is like a chart that the big money is looking at when they're all in their conference calls, pumping and dumping crypto. So in general, the 15-minute chart looks like a recovery happening right now. So that's very immediate price action, but it looks good. So we saw a little bit of a sell-off this morning, but it looks like, at least initially, Bitcoin is continuing on the way up. And I think a lot of people will probably feel good about that because I know people were hedging back in yesterday who had hedged out, and it probably was a little bit premature, but that's fine. If you didn't, good time to start setting up to do that now. Once Bitcoin gets above that 200 moving average on the 45-minute chart and continues looking strong. All right, so Ethereum Usdt, um, doing the same thing Bitcoin is doing. That's what Ethereum does. All right, Link USDT. It didn't quite make it above the 200 moving average yesterday. It's still working on it. Indicators look good. Sol USDT, everybody likes it. It's well below the 200 moving average, and it's struggling right now. So if you like it, it's not quite a good entry right now, I don't think. Doge USDT, it did break above the 200 moving average twice recently. It's kind of doing what Bitcoin's doing. I think it's going to follow Bitcoin. We'll see if it outperforms Bitcoin percent-wise. It probably will when it starts getting running. Just know when it breaks above the 200 moving average, it will stop at 314 range a bit before it goes through. ADA Cardano, everybody loves this right now. It's kind of like the fashionable coin to be all hyped about. ADA USDT, beautiful green Madrid ribbons, got above the 200 moving average. It's looking very powerful. Pretty much doing what Bitcoin's doing. It got below the 200 moving average again, and now it's working on getting above it. Indicators in general look good. Matic, it's a badass. It got above the 2 moving average and the 314 within 2 candles, so you get this little blue diamond. So it's been holding above the 2 moving average, and even this morning, it's still holding strong above the 2 moving average. That's pretty darn badass. Indicators show, well, it's sideways. Anyway, this is a powerful coin. I'm definitely watching this one. Um, this, I think Matic will probably get into a Lambo mode before too long, so I'm watching that. With this market volatility, it's basically follow what Bitcoin has done, but it has held above the 2 moving average, and that is good where most coins have not been able to. In general, indicators look good for Matic. Shiba Inu, um, maybe one of the most celebrated little projects recently. Everyone likes it. It's cute. Um, so yesterday was amazing. It broke above the 2 moving average, and look at that. It wicked right to the 314, found resistance. It's been on a downtrend. Now it's below the 2 moving average. But it went below the 2 moving average, but right now it's actually breaking above it again on the 45-minute chart. The squeeze indicator is beginning to lessen. The directional index is still holding green. The ADX will probably turn up. It is definitely poised to, stochastic side at the bottom. It's at the bottom. KRI index is in the red right now. It is, but it's definitely turning up. So, Shiba Inu, Shib versus, look at that, it's moving. All right, let's look at that on the 15-minute chart just for fun. Yeah, it's making a nice double bottom there on the moving average and moving up. Indicators in general look strong. So Shiba Inu, this might definitely be a play today. I might just have to do a nice stop just under the 200 moving average and dump some USDT in the SHIB today because I think it's going to move, especially if Bitcoin at least continues hugging this 200 moving average. And it looks like right now Bitcoin is now, I'm seeing a push right now. Yeah, we're seeing a push. Nice bounce off that 200 moving average on the 15-minute chart is happening. Indicators are turning up. 45-minute chart, of course, is going to reflect a little bit slower. So watch Bitcoin today get above the 200 moving average on this on the 45-minute chart and find support there. And I think we will see alts lose their dang minds, especially right now as I'm looking at it, Matic and Shiba Inu against USDT. This is the Bitcoin Daily View. or also just known as Craig, sitting here on his couch looking at his laptop. Um, Check out bitcoindailyview.com. Got good stuff for you there. And take care. As always, like, share, subscribe, comment. I do this kind of just for a few friends who look at this every day, but I certainly don't mind more people seeing it. So get it out there. Take care. See you tomorrow.